Okay, so this is how I breed platies for profit. I just did maintenance on every tank, so this is kind of a bad time to record, but everything is relatively good for visuals. So the first thing I did, and this was on accident, of course, just like everybody else starts out, is I bought a group of platies about 2.5, 3 years ago. They were already fully grown. The only one that I have left is this guy right here. He's from my original group, but I only had 3. And then I can pop up a picture of the original other 2 that I had. And I turned those 3 fish into however many's in here, which I believe is 5. And I'm remodeling this tank right now. But I turned those 5 into 2 in here, 2 in there, 2 in there for dither fish. I got a tank of 40 in here right now, and I've sold probably more than 150. And they're all the same. Platies pretty much breed completely true. I mean, you're not going to get anything more different than your parents. So if you look at your parents, they're going to pretty much be identical, every single fish. With exceptions, this guy right here. Let's see if I can get to focus. This guy right here is actually silver. See if I can, yeah, there he is. So for some reason, he just has absolutely no color, and he stands out amongst everybody else. I'm curious to see what he looks like when he gets older, but anyways, back to this tank. I went from 3 fish. These are every fish in here other than him is from the parents. And I took those 3 fish. I had 2 males, 1 female. I really didn't know what I was doing 2.5, 3 years ago. But I took those 3 fish to about 200 fish once I figured out what I was doing. So I'm going to show you guys how to do that today. The first thing I would do is I'm going to go ahead and pretend like this is your guys' fish store. I would go to the tank and I would look around and I would look for the differences in males and females. Together you can kind of see the difference in size. She's a wide and he's not. So this is the difference between a male and a female, and then as you can see, she has a fan on her underside, a wide spread out fin, and he's gonna have a small pointy fin. And that would be the difference between a male and a female. And then, like right here is a male, that's a female. Eventually you get the eye for it, so how much is all this gonna cost? I say you can do it for under $100. Tank, standard 10-gallon tank's gonna be probably 20 bucks. Filtration, you can get a sponge filter up and going. This one's for a 20-gallon. You can get a smaller one like this one or that one. You can get a smaller one, and that'll be probably about 30 bucks. So for a filtration and a tank, it's gonna be about 50 bucks, bare minimum. And then for the fish, it just kind of depends on what kind of fish you guys get. But these orange wags sell for about like $4, $3, $4 in the store. I sell to the store for like $1 a piece because I have really good quality ones. And then, so let's say you get a group of 3 to 5, it's gonna be about, let's call it $25. So we're at $75. Heaters, this is a big topic, especially for platies. You actually don't need a heater. I have a heater in every single tank. I have a heater in that tank, this tank, a heater in all my tanks. But they don't actually need a heater. As long as your house is staying relatively warm, anywhere around like 70 degrees, 68, 69 degrees, like they will be okay. So you don't need a heater. What I do recommend is coverage. So you can go out, you can find a piece of wood, like this piece right here, or this piece, in nature. That is if you don't live in a city, but you can drive out to the nature. In the woods, you can find little pieces of wood, boil them, and then you can use them in your fish tanks. So that's good for coverage. You can buy aquarium plants. You can go on Facebook Marketplace, and people are giving away plants all the time because some plants are almost like weeds, especially floating plants. So you can pretty much find coverage for free. But let's say you go and buy 2 $5 plants, and they grow like weeds throughout your tank. That's what, $85? Let's say you want to buy a piece of wood, maybe it's $5, $10. You have a little bit of room to have some coverage. You can do bare bottom. I don't really like it. I think it's ugly. I've tried bare bottom in tanks. I don't like it. So obviously none of my tanks are bare bottom. So you don't need substrate. Again, if you're doing this on a budget and you just want to see how you can spend as little as possible and then be able to sell fish, this is how I would do it. So you can spend just under $100 on a 10-gallon community, I guess not community, but Platy setup. Then, if you start producing a lot, you can buy a 5-gallon, which is like $10. You can buy another sponge filter, and you can have them grow out like this. This is on a larger scale. I mean, I'm probably selling, I could probably sell 100 of these a month. And that's with me. I don't even focus on these guys. I don't try to breed them anymore. They're live bearers, obviously, so they just come out little fish. And if you don't net them out, or if you don't, like I was saying earlier, if you don't get them out of the tank, they're going to get eaten up. So I don't actually really pay attention anymore. Whatever makes it, makes it. But again, I could be pulling out lots and lots of fish. Obviously, I have a little bit more going right now than just platies. Platies are definitely the easiest fish that I have. But yeah, they're definitely not my main focus, but they're easy and they can make you a decent amount of money. I guess you could sell them online as well. So if you had you could sell them on Facebook Marketplace, I think. You could sell them on Aquabid. But I just sell in my local fish store. I give them, let's say I take all 40 of these fish in here and I say, hey, I got 40, not all these are how I would go for sellable size, but some of them are like this one and that one, but they're all different sizes. Once they get big enough, I take them out, and let's say I take these 40 fish to the fish store, and I say, hey, I got 40 fish here for you, which is what I do. Then I get $1 for each fish, and then they turn around and sell it for $4, $5. $1 is pretty good. I wouldn't expect to get that much money for every fish store. I would say normally you get I guess if you're selling a $10 fish, you can expect like $2, $3, depending on what it is, obviously. But yeah, getting $1 for a $5 fish is pretty good. So I take this, I got $40 in here. And then turn around 2 weeks later, and if I were to really try, which if this is your only tank, I mean, it's all you're really doing, then you should have enough time to be able to pull those babies out. Then you can pull out I could probably pull out 150 fish a month. So now you're making $150 a month on a tank that you didn't even spend $100 for. Obviously, let's say you make $150, $150, now you have $300. And if you really wanted, you could upscale and get another 10-gallon going and another grow out tank. And obviously you don't want to flood your local market, which you will if you watch this video and you go, you know what, I'm gonna get 8 10-gallons because this guy said I can make $150 off each tank. That's not how that works. The fish store only needs so many fish, and depending on where you're at, if there's only one fish store, you're gonna flood the fish market, and then he's not gonna need any more. Me personally, about 100, he says on average he sells 100 to 200 platies a month. And I just bring them in whenever I can. I don't really focus on that, but that's for another video. Obviously I have much more tanks and other stuff going on. But yeah, you could easily make $100 a month, $150 a month, depending on how many fish you have and how many like fish stores are near you that you can sell to. So you could take $100, turn it into 150, then 300, and you could do that really for a long time, as long as your fish store needs them. So that's how I make, or could make, because I have bigger projects on my hand, but that's how you would make money breeding platies. It's as simple as filtration, heater optional, light optional depending on where you're at with your tanks. Again, I don't have lights on these tanks. They're in front of a window. There's plenty of light. But you can find a light for $10, $15. And now you have your tank set up. You got your 3, 5, however many fish. And you just spent $100 on setting up a tank. And now you have every month roughly $100, $150 worth of fish that you can bring in for either store credit or cash, depending on your store.